Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to create this login form, okay? And in future videos, I'll also be using this form to make authentication tutorials using BetterAuth. So if you want to watch those, subscribe. But in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make this login form, okay? And in the next tutorial, I'll show you how to add animation to this form and also how to add a video, okay, to kind of make this page come alive. So let's get started. So first, this is a very simple design, by the way, nothing complicated. This is the base design: white background, rounded corners. I'm using Tailwind CSS, by the way. So just a text, okay, and a input, okay. So just a border and some padding, okay. Same for the button: text, rounded corners, padding. Same for these. This is basically similar as well: text with a white background, some padding to add this effect, and then align the center, okay. And these are just links, by the way, okay. So this is the basic form setup, okay. And this is the code for this, and it might look like a lot of code, but I'm going to be changing a lot of this to make this into the form that you saw, okay. So this is the basic code. I just want to quickly show you. Okay, so text, background, rounded corners, all of that stuff. Okay, then we have an input. This is the styling for that input. Okay, and this is the label. Same for the password, just it's a type of password. Okay, then we have a submit button, which you saw, the blue button. Then we have the two links, the sign up account and forget password link. Okay, and then we have this. If you're wondering how this is in the center and this line is being shown, okay, you're just using relative and absolute, okay. With absolute, you're centering this, okay, and then you're just adding this, okay. You're using justify items center, okay, to center this, okay. And it's the same for these buttons. I basically just copied this 3 times and changed the color, nothing more, okay. I'm just using flex and gap to divide these up and align them in a row, okay. That's it. That is the code for this, okay. So let's start changing this. First, we just have a background, okay. And another thing I want to add, I made a layout file. You don't have to do this, by the way. This is just a way of writing code that I do it like this. This div is at the top. This is why you're seeing the black background. And this is the thing I wanted to show you. This is basically taking the whole height of the screen. It's forcing the div to take the whole height of the screen, okay? So this is why you're seeing the card in the center, because the height is full, and then I'm just using flex with justify center and item center to center the card, okay. And this only works because it's full height and width with the height at full screen, okay. Just wanted to make that clear, just in case you would have a problem making this. Okay, so now let's start coding this. First, what I'm going to do is make this a relative, okay? And the reason for that is that I want to add an image, okay? I'm gonna say, you'll see why I named this Dragon in Cave, okay? So in the source, I am going to get this image, okay? And I'm gonna link it, because it's in my public folder, I'm gonna link it using // and then this, okay. So now I'm gonna make this an absolute. Now relative works with absolute, okay. So what this does is align it according to what I tell it. So I'm gonna tell it to align it to the top and left, okay. As you can see, our image is being shown, okay. Actually, I'm gonna make this auto. This is auto, and actually, you know what? there's a better way of doing this now that I think about it. So this was the first way of adding a background image. Okay, so the other way is to in this, you just add in the link. Okay, so this is the second way of doing this. You just add it into the background. Okay, this is the whole div that is taking the space. Okay, but this is not correct if you see here. Okay, this is just a part of the image. What you could do is so I'm going to do bg center. Okay, as you can see, the image is now centered, but I want to do cover. Okay, and now actually not center. What I'm going to do is top. Yeah, okay, so now the image is covering the background and it is at the top. Okay, it's aligning itself to the top. So this is what we have now. Okay, so now I'm gonna make this into a glass design. To do that, it's very simple. So I'm just gonna remove this first. So I just wanted to show you both ways of doing this. Now let's move on to the glass design. So this is our card, by the way. Okay, this is the card. And what I'm going to do is, instead of white, I'm going to do black. Okay, and so I'm going to add backdrop blur. Okay, and the opacity for this is going to be 25. Okay, as you can see, we have a glass effect in place now. Okay, so it's that easy to do this. Now let's change the buttons, and you can increase and decrease the blur. Okay, for example, I can do MD for this, and I don't know if it's visible to you guys or not, but it did change a little bit. Okay, but I'm gonna leave it at LG. Okay, I kind of like this better. So next is the text. Okay, so for the text, what I'm gonna do is just change this to like a purplish color. Okay, so indigo is a good choice, purple is a good choice. And violet. Okay, so I feel like I should choose violet. I'm gonna choose 400. Yeah, it should be a darker color. Six. Let's try 7 as well. I'm gonna stick with 7 for now. Okay, actually I can just take this. Okay, I like this better, so I'm just gonna keep this. And on focus, I'm just gonna keep all of these as it is. For the button, what I'm going to do is remove all of this. Okay. All I'm going to do is keep the outline none and remove everything else. And this I'm going to add from to. Oh, I actually removed the padding as well. Let me just get this out. Here we are, padding, the font, color. Okay, I need to keep all of these. This is what I want to remove. You know what? Let's change this to right. Okay. Okay, I like this. Oh, actually this needs to be violet. Yeah, now it's good. Okay. This, however, I'm gonna make 8. 7. Yeah, this is good. So this is our login button now. Okay. To add the effect on a hover. Cursor pointer. Let's see. Now, actually we have these two. So I'm just gonna change these. Actually, you know what? I'm actually gonna increase this as well because I think it's a little too light. Now everything is more visible. Okay. So now I can change this to 3. Now it's better. And for the placeholders, okay. So in here, you can add a placeholder, okay. Just add the text. I like the darker one. Okay, so let's keep this at 4. Now we have come to this. So this is very simple. Just do. This is going to be valid. Okay. Make this a 4. And the text has a background of white, but we'll remove that. I'm just going to make the background actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I'm just gonna remove it. Okay, just add some height difference. Okay, more. Okay, yeah, that's better. Yeah, okay. Let's just remove this part. Yeah, that actually looks better in my opinion. So the next is basically this. Okay. So what we can do is to about here I'm going to remove this, okay? And I also don't need the shadow. So let's see what this looks like. Now that we have the base design, okay, next what I'm going to do is just copy this part. Actually, no. Let's add a gradient to this. Let's copy this. Let's add that here. Instead of this, do neutral. Let's save. We have a border. Oh, we have a border. Let's remove that. Remove the background. Border. The text is just going to be white. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this button 2 times. Just add this, save this. Okay, now we have all 3 of these buttons. And on a hover, okay, so this is how you make this form. So let me just quickly go over this. Added the background in our top div that is basically taking up all of this space. Okay, so we added the background image to that, and then this is the card. Okay, this is the card, and we're just adding a backdrop blur to this. Okay, and we're adding the black color for this. Okay, depending on your background, you might want a white color, but for this one, because the background is a brighter color, I chose black. Next, I just chose violet. The reason is that this background has a mix of blue and purple, so I just chose purple as the color. Okay, a purplish color. Okay, so then I'm choosing a white color for this, and then violet again. Then I'm adding a gradient to the button, again violet color. Okay, nothing complicated. Placeholder violet and the white color. Okay, same for this. This is the white color for the text, and then I'm just adding a gradient using this. Okay, and this is what is used to add the hand, to change your cursor from the arrow to a hand. Okay, so the next is this one. Okay, which is basically I just added this. Okay, and then we have this line. Okay, you could just make a HR, by the way. I just made this at the time, so I just changed the color for this. That's it. So the next are the buttons, and I just added a gradient to all of them. Okay, and that's it. And you have your buttons. Okay. So I hope you like this tutorial. Like and subscribe to stay updated on the latest tutorials, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.